Welcome to Tiny NH House. I just drove up this morning. It is the 17th of April. Most of the snow is gone. Got my new Jeep to bring me up here. So the first thing, in order to unload the car, is I gotta move my steps back up close to the house so I can get in there. So that's the first thing we'll do. There's all the snow that's left from the winter, with the snow falling off the roof. So let's take a look inside here. Everything looks good. I don't smell any dead animals. Just smell the mothballs that I left when I closed it up. So, I know it's overcast today, but I'm going to try and charge the battery a bit and then start bringing stuff in from the car. Yep, nice to be back, just for a few days. So as I mentioned, this is my first trip up here to the cabin this season. So what I need to do this trip is flush out my water system and fill the tanks from the well. Well's always full this time of year in mid-April. There's a tree that broke down the bottom of the driveway. I need to take that down because it's a safety hazard. And I gotta cut some firewood so I stay warm at night. And then I need to clean up as much as I can inside here. This is a work area and it needs to get more organized so I can find things and I have room to move around. So, with that said, let's get started. Okay, battery's hooked up to the solar panel and making some electricity, so we'll have lights tonight. Now get on with unpacking the car and maybe having some lunch. So my multimeter here crapped out on me, and I thought it was a battery at first. Replaced the battery, nothing. Of course I didn't have a meter to measure the new battery, so I tried a second battery, nothing. I tried put some wires in here to the leads directly and it's just shot. So I picked this one up at Walmart and works good. What I like is you push the little button here and the display lights up so you can see it in the dark basically. So I just checked my battery that I'm charging outside. It's at 13.1 volts. And that's not bad for a cloudy day. And I just checked one of the golf cart batteries there, and that's at 6.13 volts, I believe. So those are charged as well. So I'll make good use of this new multimeter. So the first thing I got to do today is to rinse out the water tanks and get them filled. When I put the door in last fall, I left a mess here, all my sawdust and pieces of wood. So I'm sweeping those up first, moving everything off the floor, because when I rinse those tanks, the water's going to drain on the floor and behind this door is a floor drain to outside. So that's not a problem, but I want to get all this sawdust up so I'm not walking through muck before I get that. And then I'll have to get the hoses out and the pump, bring them up the hill, put them in the well, string down the hoses to the tanks. I tried to get smart this time, and I got a hand nozzle for the end of the hose, because usually when I stick the hose through that window, the hose is running and water, I get a couple gallons of water on the floor from that. But if this hose nozzle works, it'll keep it dry. I don't know if I'll have enough pressure to rinse out the tanks, but I'll get some water in them and then turn them on their side and see what I can get out. It's just sediment. These the tarps and black plastic, they go over the tanks. Keep the light out so there's no algae. I've been tempted to paint the tanks black, but I've read different stories about the paint leaching through the plastic and into the water. Not that this is drinking water anyway. This is just washing water, water for the bathroom. But still, I'll try and keep it as clean as possible. So, I'll get finished sweeping up this mess and then hook up the water line and get started here. So I got the area all cleaned up, and I disconnected my manifold from the two tanks over there on the right, the manifold. And while I was at it, I got this strainer here, attaches to the pump right there. It's an inlet strainer. So I took it off to clean out the screen there, and it's just a screen at the bottom. But what I didn't realize is that I didn't drain this. I drained all the lines in the house, but I didn't drain the strainer over the winter. It was full of water. So I don't know if it didn't freeze or maybe it froze and it's going to leak when I turn the pump on. I don't know. But lesson learned for next winter is unscrew this strainer and let all the water out. That strainer was clean amazingly. So I don't get a lot of dirt or grit in the water, it looks like. So I'll put this back and then I'll get my hoses out and pump and string those from the well down to the basement here. So I got the hose all set, pumping. My nozzle is working good. Brush in carefully. Screwing this handle into the broom end is always a pain. Needs more water in there. I mean, it's really clean in there. Just a little sediment on the bottom. You saw on the strainer, nothing was in the strainer, so just try to loosen up any sediment that's here. Get rid of it. It's the trickiest part, getting the brush out. If the brush goes in there, then I gotta flip the tank on its side or upside down to get it out. Alright. So now we'll tip the tank, get that water out of there. So, it may seem like a pain filling these tanks and all, but I just do it in the spring each year, and then I have to pump them out in the fall, whatever water's left. But it beats spending $5,000 on a well, drilling a well and not knowing how deep they're going to have to go. Alright, so now close this off and start filling this tank. So this is interesting. I went out and I turned off the pump, and water's still running. So I got a siphon going here. So we are currently in this tank below the water level in the well. The well's out on the hill there. So I haven't experienced this before. It's kind of neat. So basically, we just needed the pump to get this going. Put some of that in here. It's about a cup and a half. So now I can hook up pump upstairs, run some disinfecting water through the lines. So I was running water through the system, a little bit of chlorinated water to flush things out. And when I turned on the faucet here in the kitchen, I noticed some water back here. So I took out the sprayer hose here, and I look at the back of the sprayer, and it's missing part and back. So sometime over the winter that thing cracked due to water being in there. So luckily you can see those threads in there that screwed off, and I think I have another one of these in the cellar, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll go down and see if I can screw that on. But I don't know, when I closed up for the winter, I took the hose and I raised it up high here, and I opened the valve here on the end so that water could drain out of here. So I don't know how that water got in there to crack that. So luckily I had another one of these hoses. The reason I have it is a long story, but so this, I'm able to screw this off, and it's the same as the other one. So we'll replace that and see if that takes care of the leak. Alright, let's give this a try. We got water, and here we have no leaks. Actually, let's give it a spray in the sink here. Okay, it sprays. So it's full of water. And don't point it at me. And there's no leak. So I think we're all set with that. Good. One problem quickly solved. All right, so it's 11 o'clock and we're pumping water. Started pumping water again. So we'll see how long it takes to fill up these two tanks, about 600 gallons of water. Now I'm off to cut down a tree. So it's 4 o'clock. That was 5 hours of pumping. And we're right up to the top here. So there's 600 gallons between the two tanks. So that little bilge pump is doing 120 gallons per hour. Not bad. So we'll remove the hose, secure the tanks, and then put the cover back on the well. So this is the process of moving my well cover. First of all, I put this tarp here when I'm pumping so nothing falls in there, because I had a couple years ago a squirrel ended up drowning in my well because I had a piece of plywood over it, and he got in. So even if it's just for a few minutes when I'm pumping, I cover this up now. Really nothing to it. It's a 12-volt sump pump for a boat, but it does a job, at least for right now. Later this year, when I get my inverter running, then I can get a submersible pool pump and get this done in no time. So I'm going to leave this stuff out overnight. I'm going to close up the well here. So who was it said, give me a long enough lever and I can move the earth? Was it Archimedes or one of those guys? So let's put this in here and walk the cover back. That should do it. There's got to be an easier way, but I haven't figured it out yet. This tree at the bottom of my driveway cracked, what, 12 feet up during the winter. So you can see it there in the sky. It's leaning against another tree. So I'm going to get this down. So I figure I'll put a notch at the bottom and then do a back cut on the other side and pop it out toward the street. See if that works. Because it looks like the pressure on that is pushing it toward the street. We'll give that a try. Well, we got the tree down. It did fall where I wanted it to, toward the street. The problem was, I don't know how long this is, 50 feet? The top of it got hung up in those branches. So that 12-foot piece on the bottom there, that made it to the pry bar, and I moved the bottom down 5 or 6 feet, and that was enough for the top of it to clear the branches up there. So it's down, it's out of the way, and everybody's safe. So I'm going to call it a success. Actually, this is my first tree. First tree I chopped down. Those wedges, orange wedges, came in handy too. Here's a close-up of the stump. So my notch really sucked, but my back cut was good. And there's a little bit of a hinge there. Of course, this was all with the bow saw. I left my chainsaw at home. I couldn't fit it in. Next time. So I was in one of the box stores last week, and I saw this creosote sweeping log for sale. So I thought I'll give it a try. My my stovepipe here is a straight run, and I usually take it out in the summertime and clean it with a brush because I'm not up here all the time. So this is the fire log. And I made a small fire in here. Now it's out. So put this in. And we'll light it. And see how it works. Actually, I'm going to close the door because it's supposed to release chemicals or something. Alright, so I'm back with my creosote sweeping log. Looks like it's caught on fire, burning pretty good, which is what it's supposed to do. So we'll let this go for about an hour and a half. They said that's how long it burns. It's getting windy. There's a change in the air. It's supposed to get rainstorm tomorrow. So maybe this is the new air mass moving in. Hopefully you can hear the wind in the trees. I love that sound. This makes you feel so alive. Fresh air. I have to get an outside thermometer. This is the one I have on my desk. So right now inside it's 58 degrees. So I bring this thing out and I put it on the steps there to see what the outside temperature is going to be. You know, give it half an hour to adjust. Just because it may be warmer outside today than inside. It wouldn't surprise me. I finished my cleaning, at least for this trip. So, got things a lot better organized here. So I can find things. A couple weeks ago, I picked up this little table down at home, and it's kind of nice. It's adjustable, so I have it roughly the same height as the card table there, but you can see it there. You can adjust the legs for varying height. So I thought this would be a nice addition for up here, because I can use it to eat on and move it around and fold it up against the wall when it's not needed. Right now it's just an extension on my desk. And here's the other half of the cabin. That creosote burning log, that thing burned for like 3 hours. It was supposed to be 90 minutes. I had to wait till like 8 o'clock last night to go down to the spring to get some drinking water to get me through the night and today. So not much has changed over here since December. The first cabinet on the left, that's a corner cabinet, and that'll go in that corner, that left corner. The second cabinet there, the one in the middle here, that's a sink base, so that'll go under the sink. So what I'm waiting on doing now is either next trip or the trip after, I'm going to remove the sink and that temporary counter and put those two cabinets in place. And to the left of the sink there'll be like a 9-inch cabinet with drawers, and to the right will be like a 24-inch cabinet. I need to order those. So I'll screw the cabinets in. Then I got my butcher block countertop, which I still have to oil, and then lay that down, cut a hole for the sink, reinstall the sink. Oh, I forgot. Before the cabinets even go in, I got to continue my tongue and groove pine up the wall. That's why the project stopped. I don't know if you can see underneath there. You can see better over here. My tongue and groove got up that high to about counter height. Well, to go behind the counter, obviously I have to remove the counter. So that's why the counter's coming out. So then I'll have to put my tongue groove pine up there, cut around the window, actually both windows, and then put the cabinets in and the counter. And I plan to have 2 hanging cabinets, one on either side of the window as well. I figure you can never have too much storage space, and they'll fit in there. So that is going to be it for this trip. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there.